Hello moviegoers and welcome to another episode of CritiCarter, the show where I turn you into a cinephile. I just got back from a midnight screening of Contagion, the action thriller about a dangerous epidemic which threatens to kill millions if left unchecked, and the havoc it wreaks upon society. This film is directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by Scott Z. Burns, and stars Gwenyth Paltrow, Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, John Hawkes, Jude, Marion, Cotillard, Kate Winslet, Demetri Martin, and Bryan Cranston.
Demetri Martin? I love Demetri Martin!
Yeah, we'll get to him later. Steven. I got a lot of respect for Mr. Soderbergh. He is one of those unique directors in that he's able to, on the one hand, make the nice big studio pictures, and turn around and make little independent art house kind of things, and be just as successful and interesting with both of them. He takes his passion and finances that with the studio pictures. You know, he gets the system. He knows how to make it work for him, where he can do the passion projects, but still get paid when he needs to. And obviously with a cast like the one that I just listed, this film is not some little art house project. This is a nice big studio picture, and it shows. For the most part, the cast is really good, especially Marion Cotillard, who plays a World Health Organization employee, if you want to call it that. John Hawkes in his first, I'd say, significant Hollywood role after his breakout in Winter's Bone last year, and Me, You, and Everyone We Know earlier. Not all of the cast could be so lucky, unfortunately. I had mentioned that Mr. Demetri Martin, who many of you probably recognize from his comic stylings, he's in this movie. And yes, he did make an attempt to do some semi-dramatic stuff a couple years back with a little movie called Taking Woodstock. But I can't look at the screen and, you know, I had the same kind of problem with James Franco in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I can't look at the screen and think, okay, this guy is a scientist. I look at him, you know, he's still got that bowl, kind of bowl cut, and the big old nose, and I laughed. The first time I saw his face on the screen, I laughed at him. This is not a funny movie, or at least it's not an intentionally funny movie. So, Demetri Martin, not the best casting choice. Didn't really do anything for me in the role. There is one scene very early on in the picture that I thought was shot really well, so I can give it that, I guess. The first scene that you see that doesn't have one of the main stars in it, they're in a, I really hope I got this right, I want to say they're in China, and it's just a guy walking through a marketplace, and he is one of the first to be infected, and it goes from him walking around to point of view shots, and it's all kind of blurred, and the saturation's turned up a little higher than it should be, so you really feel that sense of sickness from within. And I want to give Soderbergh credit for that, but usually when you have things that aren't shot with your main stars, that's done by the second unit director instead of the main director, so probably wasn't him. There's also a scene quite a bit later in the film that highlights the tactile nature of the spread of the virus, and I thought that was also shot really well. Again, no main stars in that one, so probably also second unit, although I could see the little red light on the camera being reflected in a window behind where the focus, the subject of the image was sitting. Gotta be careful when you're shooting against a reflective surface. My biggest problem was that there was too much in this movie. You know, I rattled off all those names, and because you have all those people, there's, you know, 4 or 5 different plots going on that kind of run into each other, but not really. You could probably have trimmed this down plot and cast-wise by at least 25% and had a much better movie, in my opinion. This is, I hate to say this, and you know, because Rotten Tomatoes would disagree with me quite a bit, this is the worst movie that I've seen since we've started making these little videos. I'm gonna give this a 2.5 comically ill Gwenyth Paltrows. And I'll explain what I mean by that. There's been a lot of buzz about this movie on the internet, but not in the most positive ways. And the trailer gives this away, so you can't get mad at me for saying I'm spoiling anything. And if you haven't seen the trailer, I'd say pause this, go watch the trailer right now. There's a link right down in the description, as there always is. Gwenyth Paltrow dies in the first 15 minutes of the movie. And there were a lot of people excited about seeing her death, and I don't really know why. So I want you guys to put a comment down there below where that trailer link is that we just talked about, and tell me me why you think people want to see Gwyneth Paltrow dead. Because she's done, you know, say what you will about her, you know, would-be singing career and her blatant ripoff of Crazy Heart that she called Country Strong, but she's given some good performances in her time. You know, she's a capable actress. I don't want her dead. Do you want her dead? Let me know. Next week, I'll be seeing the new Ryan Gosling action film, Drive. Remember to give me a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because, you know, it's a wonderful thing. Everybody wants me.